Okay.
Okay, so let's start today. Today we are going to see grid. Okay, again, most useful topic. Okay, yesterday we discussed about flexbox. Okay, and that is actually 1D, means it is for one dimensional layout. Okay, today we are going to study this grid system, and this is for two dimensional. Okay, so that's its benefit because it gives us two dimensional layout. Okay, yesterday was what was happening. Either we were able to align it through the main axis or through the column axis, one thing at a time. Okay, so that's why we call it one axis. Today we are going to align, means whatever properties we are going to assign, that we are going to assign column wise also and row wise also. Okay, so that's why it is two dimensional. Okay, let's see our basic structure. So I have done nothing like yesterday, given one outer div. Okay, and this time I have kept it very simple. Okay, so item 1, item 2, like this 12 items I have created. So basically 12 means items, right? And this I am calling container because I have given it container class. And these are small means items inside this container with the class item, which is common in all of them. And item 1, item 2, like this, they have individual class as well. Okay, I hope this is clear. Next, we have some CSS. Okay, so in the CSS, this is the basic CSS which we always apply, means a universal operator and the margin 0, padding 0, and box sizing border box. Both of these because we don't want to have any by default margin padding which is assigned by the browser. Okay, next, we have the container. Container, right? The outer div. Okay. This one, we have given the maximum width. Let's say I have given the maximum width 1200 pixels. Okay. It can take less than it, but the maximum is 1200 pixels. It will not go beyond 1200 pixels. Okay. That's the case. Next, we have given a broad border, means the dark blue color border. Okay. Then some margin 40 pixels auto. Auto means from the left and right it will be adjusted, and from the top and bottom it will be 40 pixels. Okay, right. Next thing what we have given is this item, means item is the individual divs which we are having. Okay, so like yesterday, I will again call these grid items today. Yesterday we were calling them flex items, and this I was calling flex container. So today this is a grid container, and these are the grid items. Okay, I hope this terminology is clear. Now, individually item, what I have given, a simple blue background, then some color. Okay, color means for the text. Padding I have given, and some border I have given. Okay, so 2 pixels black they are having individually. Okay, or only this thing we have given, and just forget this grid. And so this page is looking something like this. See, a border from all of the, means some margin from all the side, some inner margin also of the items. And see, this is the broad border which is defining that this is the container. Okay, and these are the items. Okay, so by default they are aligned like this. And you know why they are aligned like this? Because they takes full length. Div is a block level element, so it takes full width, and also it starts from the new line. So first item, it will take full width, whatever is the width. And now why is this width so small? Because we have given max width should be 1200 pixels, right? Any issue in this part? All clear?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So now, yesterday, what we did, we simply came in the container class. Okay, container is our flex container yesterday. Today it's grid container. And what we did, simply display flex, right? So all of them used to come in one line, like this, right? But today we will not do this. We are learning grid, so we will do display grid, and you will see no difference. Okay. In Flexbox, all of them were getting aligned nicely. In grid, it is not like this. Okay. Now, was about grid. That now we have made it grid. How to know that we have made it grid? See, you come in the inspect, and now, okay. Now here in the container side, you can see this bar box grid. If you click over it, you can see something. Okay. All of them are having some numbers. Can you see these numbers? So The first row, it is starts from this 1, then this is 2, 3, means these are the grid numbers, we call them grid numbers.
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, for the column also we are having this is 1 and this is 2. Okay. And last one, whatever is the last one, we call it -1. Similarly, here also you can see -1. Otherwise, commonly we are having 1, 2, 3 like this. So this is the first column, this is the second column, right? So 1, 2. Similarly, 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 row like this. Okay. So we are having this grid. Okay. If you click over it, you will see all these things. Now, I hope this is clear, right? So we have something different here. Yesterday, this was not there. So display grid means something is happening. Okay, we have got some rows and columns. Now, let me tell you one property. Okay, this is grid template columns. Today, these properties are like this only. I'll tell you what these properties are doing. Okay, and then let's play around with them. So here I have given them three values: 100 pixels, 200 pixels, and 100 pixels again. Let's see what happens here. So when we go here, okay, see, it has done something. If you notice, here what we have assigned, grid template columns should be 100 pixels, 200 pixels and 100 pixels. So it has actually given us three columns. This also you can see, grid template columns means we are creating actually the columns of fixed size. What will be the size of, what will be the size of first column? It will be 100 pixels. 100 pixels means the width of the first column. 200 pixels will be the width of the second column, and similarly 100 pixels will be the width of the third column. Clear? But do you think this is a good idea to do like this? Because for now, what we are doing, we are just fixing the sizes. That is not flexible, right? Okay. So I want some explicitly. Means I don't want to give them sizes like this. Let's use percentage, because earlier, whenever we used to deal with something which we don't know, we used to deal with percentage, right? Now here, if you notice, I have given percentage. Okay, that's clear. Fair enough. Now, there's something which is column gap. Means between the columns, we will get gap. So let's say it is 50 pixels. Now, do you see something is happening which is very odd? All of them are getting 33 percentage of this entire 1200 pixels. But now this column is this 50-50 pixel column has also come in between, column gap basically. So that's why our third column is going out of the container. This we never want. If we have made the container, we want that it should be inside this container only. So this 33 means giving the percentage idea is not good, right? Again, what is the substitute of this? How to deal with this situation? So in grid, we have fractions. Okay, we call it FR. Okay, so now here again I have made three columns. How do you know I have made three columns? Because I have write this fraction three times. Let me write it one FR again. So this time we will have four columns. Okay, isn't it very nice? See how many columns you want to create. Just write this one FR that time. Also, I can write here two FR in the middle. So you can see this is one fraction of the entire container. This is second fraction, and this is the third fraction. And the second fraction is twice the both of these containers. Okay. Also, the gap. This time it is not. This gap is not disturbing, and it is not throwing us out of our container, right? So that's why in place of this percentage, this fraction is the better thing. Okay, so again let me do it, one fr, one fr. So this time we have three fr, three columns which are equal, and also this column gap is there, and it is not disturbing any of the thing. Now, is there any shortcut for writing this one fr? Yes, there is one shortcut. Okay, and the shortcut says like this: since we are repeating this 1FR three times, so you can write like this: repeat 3 1FR. Means what is it saying? Please create three columns, because here we are talking about the columns. Create template columns. Okay. And in the columns, three just create and of 1FR. 1FR means that only, like percentage, if you understand 33%, here it is in fractions. Means by default, browser is wise enough to just see that if there is some gap, I have to manage that gap also, and also how to divide them equally. So see, it has divided them equally, right? You can just think of the situation like in the earlier days when we used to learn about fractions, right? We used to have one chapati, and if I want to break it in three parts, the like three fractions I make. So like that only you can, it's just normal fraction thing. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now there is one question. Okay, what I told it with this line, that I want three columns. Okay, that's fine. But there were other items also, right? This item 4, item 5, why they have come in the row wise? They could have come after this, means I after this item 3 also they could have come, because I told that I want three items. Okay, so maybe this item 3, from item 4 to 11, 12, they could have come after this also in another column. Why they have come in the row wise? Because what happens now, there is something which is explicit and implicit. So here we have created the columns. Okay, we instructed the means machine that please create three columns for me. So it is called explicit. Explicitly we have created three columns, but implicitly browser will create rows. Implicit, could you understand? There are two words. Okay, just see this. See, three columns we created, right? And those are explicit because we defined that I want such kind of three columns. So we say that explicitly we have given three columns. And by default, browser has created the rows, right? You have seen 4, 5, 6, they have come in next row. Then again 7, 8, 9, they have come in the next row. So that is implicit. Okay. Implicitly, browser has created those rows. So that's what we call explicit and implicit. Is this clear?
Yes.
So now we have to do something, right? Of these columns. So we will see how to do that. If they are coming in row, what should be the thing of this rows which are again forming? All these things we'll see later. But for now, just understand it. There's something which is explicit and implicit. And if we are creating the columns explicitly, by default, implicitly, browser creates a different kinds of rows. If we are creating columns, it will create rows. Okay, who creates it? Browser, right? So again, now let's come to another part. Okay, we saw that there was something, right? Column gap. Okay, we saw column gap earlier. Let me just add column gap. Column gap is, let's say, 20 pixels. See, here you can see 20 pixels column gap we have got. Similarly, we have something which is row gap. Okay, let me put it 50 pixels. So you can see this entire 50 pixels, this is about row gap. Let me remove this column gap and show you only the row gap. See, by default means from the word only it is clear that I want gap in the row. So here we have got gap in the row by row gap. Okay, it is simple. So for now, till now, what we have learned, we have learned how to explicitly define the columns. Okay, so how we are defining with the help of fractions. Okay, grid template columns we are having. This is one property, and inside it, how many means columns we want. That kind of fractions we are making, and also there's one shortcut which is this repeat 3 1 fr. Okay, that we can use. So these things are clear till now. Now we saw about column gap and row gap. There is one shortcut also for it. So if you see this, see 20 pixels, this is the row gap. So when we write combine, first of all we write the column gap and then the row gap. uh, s- Sorry, first of all we write the row gap and then the column gap. See here, let me put it 60%, let's say. So this is more wider, right? So this is the column gap, means whatever is the later one, that is the column gap. And also sometimes what happens, we forget which one is first, means first time we have to write row gap or column gap. So in that case, see, I have provided two kinds of values. So this is 10 pixels, which is very less, and this is 60 pixels. So even if I forget that, okay, first one is row and the second one is column, I can see like this. I can play around with the values and see the first value, which is the 10 pixels, it is small. And this is basically defining the row gap. So now you can see, okay, this is the row gap and this is the column gap. So let me give it like this. Okay. Now, here we have given two values, right? So first is for row gap, second one is for the column gap. But what I can do, if I want equal values for both of them, I can provide only the gap. And now here I can write whatever the value I want. So let's say here 10 pixels I want. Is it clear? So 10 pixels, if I'm writing only one
Yes.
value, it means that row gap is also 10 pixels and the column gap is also 10 pixels. This thing is clear. So what we saw, grid template columns we have seen. Then we saw there is something which is column gap. Then we saw there is something which is row gap. And then we got this shortcut that if you want to add both of them, no need to write explicitly column gap, row gap. You can write in one way only. Just write gap and give two values. The first value denotes row gap and the second value denotes column gap. Clear? Okay. Moving ahead. See, we created these three columns. That is clear, I guess. But now, did I say that please create rows like this? I want the rows of something else length. Okay. How can I tell the browser? So there is something. If I want to create rows also, I can fix the rows into these values. So just like I was having grid template columns, similarly I can have grid template rows. So here I have set 100 pixels. Two columns I want which are 100 pixels. Okay. It has created 100 pixels border. But now, could you see something that these rows, last two rows, are different from first two rows? Here I have said that I want two rows only, right? 100 pixels each. But here they have made, okay, they have made two columns, but they have made actually four column rows. I have told them to create two rows. They have created four rows. That's fine. Okay, they have created because we were having extra elements. But again, these two are of 100 pixels, but these two are not of any length. Why is that so? Because again, there's something which I told you, implicit and explicit. So here, by default, since we have created these two rows, I have said that please make two rows which should be 100 pixels each. Now, this is called implicitly. Sorry, this is called explicitly. Explicitly, I have created these. Okay. And if a browser is doing, then it is implicitly. So browser has created these two rows, and implicitly it has given some width, some height, let's say, and that is not fixed. Okay. So here what happens? Three columns have been made, two rows have been fixed, and two rows which we are creating, those two will take 100 pixels each. And let's say if I'm giving 300 pixels, so all these three will take only this one which is created by browser, which is implicit row, that will be that can vary, means whatever size it wants. Okay, so like this we can do. So what we saw, that we can create columns, we can create rows of fixed size, whichever we want. Okay. Next thing. Now suppose again, um, just a minute. Okay. That's fine. That this browser has made two rows, but now for the last two rows I want something for them also. So I want to say that, see browser, if you are creating something on your own, please give it this size which is 200 pixels. Now why I have written to, see, grid auto rows says that if browser is creating this grid template rows, means which we are creating, right? So we said that create two rows of 100 pixels each. But grid auto rows means whatever browser is creating by himself, means implicitly if it is getting created, then give it the height 200 pixels. But now what happens here, let me just give it 50 pixels, let's say. So it will be 500 pixels, we have given a lot. Okay, let's keep it 200 pixels only. So see, first two rows 100 pixels, 100 pixels each. Next two rows are 200 pixels each. Now why we have written only one value here? We could have written like this now, 200 pixels, because it has created two means how many values, means two rows it has created. So we could have written like this only. Earlier we wrote 100 pixel, 100 pixel. So similarly here also we could have written 200 pixel, 200 pixels. No, because we don't know how many rows it is required to create. Okay, that's not our headache to create the rows. Okay, just see the example. Let's suppose I am um, till 6 only we are having. and rest I have just commented. So this time what happens? Only two rows have been created, and for two rows we have given the size 100 pixels, 100 pixels each. So this grid auto rows is not used. Okay, let's say now I will give. Now we have 9 items in total. Okay, so this time what happens? Only one value will be used. Since only one row implicitly is getting created, so we will get 200 pixel for this row only. Okay, I hope this is clear. So, means what I'm trying to say is, see, if we are creating the rows, give the size 100 pixels, 100 pixels each. If we are saying to the browser, okay, grid auto rows, auto means by default auto, automatically. If grid auto rows, then 200 pixels give them the height. Okay, so that's the case. Similarly, even for the columns also, if browser is creating something on its own, then you can say that give them this by default. Okay, let's see. Now, there's one thing which I told you earlier. Means I asked you a question, right? That we created one, two, three columns, but then while this four, five, six come in the row, they could have come afterwards also, na? Like in column wise only. So the reason is because by default this property is set to row. That grid auto flow should be row. Grid auto flow. Should be row. Yesterday we saw flex direction, right? That by default flex direction is row, but this time grid auto flow it is row. We can change it to column also. So let's change. If I change it to column, see, one, two, three have been created, and then four, five, six, all these three implicitly have been created in the column. Okay, so now again, if you want to give it the feel of like flex, if you want to use, you can do something like this. See, by default what I have given, grid auto flow column. So now see, it is looking just like flexbox will look, right? Flex, if we created flexbox, it could have means it could have looked like this, right? So now even with grid we can make it the feel of flexbox. Okay, here what we are doing, we are just saying that please be in the column. So now we are just doing the one dimensional thing. We are saying that please come in one column. Okay, but that's not the thing we want. Mostly we are okay that, okay, if means by default if I've created three columns, means I want only three columns. I don't want unnecessarily other columns also. If I would have wanted, I could have created the number, means I could have changed the number here. See, now I can change the column size. So if I have said that I want three columns, then by default other things should come in the row only. So we don't care about this property. Okay, we never said this. This is by default, so it's let it be. Is it clear? Now, one thing I want to tell you about the responsiveness. See this thing, that it is so responsive. If I'm stretching it, see, if I'm just closing it, means making it so less. Just a minute. Yeah. See, one, two, three, they have taken only this much width. Now, see, if I'm increasing the span of my screen, this is also getting increased, this is also getting decreased. So it is very flexible, this is very responsive, we say, right? Now, something I want that, see, whenever you are changing, what you are doing, you are changing all of them, means all the size you are changing. But let's say this is something important, okay, and I want that it should always take 100 pixels. Till now what is happening, let's see. If I'm decreasing the size, let's say, okay, it is coming so less. Until now, if I inspect, see, all these are taking so much less width, right? It has come to 29 pixels only. And now see, it gets increased. It is 36 pixels, it is this pixels. Okay, so means it is getting increased or decreased. It is getting decreased to a very high level. But what I want that first column should be fixed. Okay, I want it always to be 100 pixels. So how can I do? So this is the case. What you can do is you can write the 300 pixels. It means that first column should be always 300 pixels. It can't be less than this. It is fixed. It will always be 300 pixels. And whatever is the rest size is there. Okay, let's see this. I write only 300 pixels, it means I want only one column. Okay. Now if I'm writing this, that repeat to 1 fr means the rest of the two columns, they can be fixed. They can vary. Means fraction means whatever is the remaining spaces there, based on it, it can just divide among themselves. So now let's see the difference. What happens here? See, I'm decreasing. We can decrease, 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 decrease. Okay, this time let's say three of them are 100 pixels. Now again I'm going to decrease, decrease, decrease. Who all are decreasing? Can you see? Only this 2 and 3 are getting decreased, and the first one is fixed. First one is again fixed, 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 and that is getting decreased, right? Why is that so? Because we have created the first column fixed, and the rest two can be responsive, they can vary. Okay, clear this thing?
Yes.
So that's the case how you can just avoid that. I don't want something to be responsive, I want something to fix. So you can explicitly fix something. Okay, that's the case. Now, okay, let's see this thing now. Again, we are creating three columns, and there are different values. Like if I want to create 200 pixels, give me a minute. Okay, now see, if I'm giving like this, that 200 pixels and 3 if I'm writing. So what am I doing? I am just fixing the column size. That one, 2, 3, only 3 size I want, 3 columns I want. But let's say what I'm trying to do is I want each column of 200 pixels. Okay, that is my case. That I don't care how many columns are there, but what I want is I want that they should be 200 pixels each. So in this case, there is something else which I can do. I can write like this: autofill 200 pixels. So here, what is happening? See, here, since the space was less, only two columns were created. Now, as the space is more, three columns get created. How? Let's see. Inspect. Okay, let me make it responsive here itself. And now, let's say when we were having two columns, let's see the value, computed value. Now, if I see about this outer box, okay, this is having the length means width, what width of 516 pixels. Okay, now 516 pixels. So explicitly, what I have give said that the column should be 200 pixels. Okay, so you already know that this is 200 pixels, this is 200 pixels, means 400 pixels. What is left? 116 pixels. So this gap is 116 pixels. Okay, this small gap. So that's why we can't create one more column, but let me increase. So if I want to create three columns, what size, what width do I want? I want 1200 pixels at least, right? So let's move it to more. Now, okay, 600, sorry, 200, 200 each. So now, as it is 600 pixels, let me pick it very specific. See, in 599 it can't make a third column, but as it, here you can see the value, right? So as it is 602 pixels, the width, total width of the container is 602, means three columns can be created: 200 pixel one, 200 pixel second, 200 pixel third. So now three columns could be created. Similarly, if I just keep on increasing, now see, it is 822, more than 800, means four columns can be created. So like this, we are not concerning that how many columns will be created. Let's say if I give them 250 pixels. Okay, so see, it is looking so good. What I'm doing is that I want as many columns as it is possible. Okay. Autofill means it can create means any number of columns. What I want is that if they are creating the column, see here I have written template column. So then if they are creating the column, it should be 200 pixels. Okay, is this thing clear? And rest is autofill. They can fill it auto means like them only. Another property here only is similar to this, but for now you won't see any difference. It is auto fit. It will behave like that only. See, first two columns, then three columns, then four columns, and five columns. Okay, the difference is, let's see here. Let me go in the body and in the grid. Okay, let me show it for fill first, and then we'll come in the fit. Okay, wait. Let me tell you with another example. It will be more clear. Here it is not visible, the difference. Let's come ahead and I'll tell you the difference then. Okay. Now, there is another requirement I'm having. Okay, I'm having so many requirements, right? So the next requirement is, let's say, um, I have only these three items. Okay, can you see? Only three items I'm having. Now, my requirement is, let's say, by default, see what is happening, they are getting stretched. Okay, but this time I want that I want minimum of 200 pixels and maximum it can take one fraction. Okay, and it is autofill. So now if you see here what is happening, minimum what is has taken 200 pixels. See, it is 200 pixels. Again if I go on increasing, it will just go like this. Now again if here I go in the div part, see something is happening here. If I am doing autofill, okay, it will do, it does not stretch automatically. See here, this item 3 it has come here only. Let's see what is the height of it, width of it actually. For this one it is 875, and means they have means minimum they can take 200 pixels and one fr they can take, but they are not getting fully stretched. Okay, so this is the case. Now let's see something which is auto fit. So what I'm saying, auto fit and min max, the min value should be 200 pixels and rest it can take full fraction. Okay, now if I'm doing auto fit, see here what is happening. If it is less, then it is taking 200 pixels only, but if it is more it can take any value, right? Could you see the difference? Again let me check, go and story tell you like this. See here, earlier what I'm doing, I have done autofill. Okay, and minimum I'm saying that minimum take 200 pixels. Okay, and maximum you can take two one fraction. Okay, so now let's see if I'm changing it. See, it is like this, but it is not taking the remaining space, means the maximum it is not taking the full fraction. But this is the case with autofill. But in the same case, if I do autofit, what happens? It is taking the full width, right? See here, minimum it is taking 200 pixels. Other than that, it is taking full one fraction. Okay, so mostly whenever we are using min max, we use this autofit. And to be very honest, there is not much visible difference between this autofill and autofit. For now in this case it is visible, right? That since it is not taking the full fraction, it is not getting fully stretched, while in case of fit it is getting fully stretched. That is one difference. But like earlier, here also we saw that autofit and autofill we used, and there was no clear difference. So that's the case every time it happens. Even when you are working, it will happen that you will forget that what was with autofill, what was with autofit. So don't worry, just try both of them. Whatever is your requirement, what whoever is suiting your requirement, just use it. And don't worry about sitting that okay, I'm not understanding what is autofill, what is autofit. No problem, just try it once, you will see the difference. If the difference is clearly visible, check, means pick out one of them. If both are identical, giving the same difference, like in this case both were giving the same thing, okay, so I can use any of them, it does not matter. Okay, now I'll just again uncomment all these things so that we can have 12 columns. Okay, so here, um, let me go and just comment this one out. Okay. Here now this time we'll see this thing. Again, what I have given, min max I have given, minimum it can take 250 pixels and maximum 1 FR. And also what I have given, auto fit, that by default they can stretch. Okay. Now here, a grid auto rows I am giving 100 pixels. That if I am not created any rows, by default if browser has created, give it 100 pixels. So see here, by default all the rows browser only has created, so it has given it 100 pixels. Now let's see, this was mainly about the container property. Let's see some of the item property also, means items property. So here, let's say I want something. Okay, what am I saying is grid column start. That, let me say something, wait. My requirement is C. Here what is happening, this item 1 is here. Okay, what I want is item 1 should be in both of these column, means these two combined should be the item 1. Okay, how can I do so? Here what I have done is grid column start 1 and grid column start end 3. See here, it should be start from 1 and it should end with 3. Now you will say what is 1 and 3? So I'll say again, please come to the grid, okay, and see the grid system. Now here, can you see these numbers? 1, 2, 3. So that's the case, what I have said here. See, I have told them that it should be grid column start 1. Column means to whom I am saying. I am saying to item 1. Okay, only to this item 1 I am saying. That grid column start 1 is start from one column and end at column number 3. Okay, so it will end at column number 3. So from 1 to 3 it has come. Okay, apart from saying like this, what I can say is that, like this also can be used, that grid column and 1/3 means from 1 to 3 just come. Okay, see here, it has come from 1 to 3, right? Again, in place of saying like this, I can say it like this also, that starting from 1, span 2. Span 2 means take two boxes, two cells, just take. So see, starting from 1 it has taken two cells. Is it clear? It is all the same, just different forms of writing it. Okay, third is, let's say I want to say from wherever you are. Just I have not specified. See, earlier what I did, first slash. Now I am saying wherever you are, start from there and then span two. Okay, let's see in something else also. Let's see, you can see this item 5. So for this item 5 I am assigning something. Okay, item 5, and now I am saying grid column. Let's say I am saying span 2. So what I have said, wherever you are, spend two, take two boxes. So see, it has taken two boxes wherever it was. Okay, this time we don't have to explicitly see it is line number 2 or 4. Okay, even I could have given, like if I want know the lines, I could have said like this 2 and 4, and let me remove all this. Still, it would have been same. So line number 2 to 4. Okay, is this thing clear? Here we saw the,
Yes, that
yeah.
it has gone through two na, then it can't be here at item number 8. It can't be explicit here in this side.
Sorry, I didn't get you. What is happening?
Item number 5 you have done na, means two columns.
Yes, means I said that wherever you
Then it
start, from there, just go take two columns. Yes,
yeah okay, two columns. So
yeah,
okay, right.
okay. So that's the case. Yeah, like here I have said that explicitly 2 to 4.
It can be grid row also, no? We can do here item number 8. It can cover that
Till item
grid row. We have taken.
yes. So for it you have to define it like that way. See here what I have done,
Okay.
from 2 to 4 line I have said that line 2, see this is one line, two line, three line, four line. So from 2 to 3 4 line it come. So it has just kept this space empty, right? But here if I write here like this, span 2, that wherever you are, just take two boxes. So see, from wherever it was, it has
Yes.
two boxes. So that's the case. Even I can say with six also. So with six, it can take these two boxes. Let me say I wanted to take four boxes. One, two, three, four. Now let's see what will happen. Okay. We will get a lot of empty space. See, it has left this space because it can't take all of them here. So it has come here. Okay. That like that you can play.
Okay.
Now, if I wanted to take five spaces, see how it has taken. Okay, so that's the case means we also play this means nice wisely only. We don't give five because obviously we know that it will break our column and rows sequence. Okay, that's the case. Now we saw two three methods. Okay, first was that I can write explicitly grid column start one, grid column end three. Next, 1/3 I can write. Next, we saw 1/span 2 means starting from 1, span 2. Next, we say span 2 means wherever you are, just span 2. The next thing is I can write 1/-1. It means that, see, I means when we were seeing the grid numbers, I told you one thing there itself. Let's again come to this grid. See, this is number 1 and this is number -1. So minus 1 is the whatever is the last column that is numbered -1. So here what am I saying? From 1 to -1 means from this 1 to this -1 just come. Okay. So that's the case with grid column. What we were talking about till now, column. We were saying how to expand column wise. The same thing we can say about row also. So for this item number one, I am saying start from row number one. See, this is one, this horizontal, this is second, and this is third. So start from one and it at third. Similarly, I can say like this also. Start from one and with third, or I can say span two, start with one and take two boxes, or I can say take four boxes. So see, it has taken four boxes. It is looking something like this. So all these things you can do anyway. Okay, just like we saw all these methods with the column, same thing you can do with the row also. Is this thing clear?
Yes.
Okay, so now we have seen both of these cases. Let's see in the further case. Okay, let's play around more with it only. So now let's say I want to this only. Oh, sorry. See what I have given again. Let me just minimize it. Okay. See what I have said that repeat means it should take a minimum 250 pixels, maximum one fraction. That is clear. Means it is about the column. Okay. It can take any number of columns, right? Based on the size. Here, if I decrease the size, I have this part was clear. So if I decrease the size, it can take 3, 2, 1 anytime. Okay. So see, it is so responsive. If I want 2, 3, 4, it is all simple. Okay. Now, again, what I'm saying explicitly, implicitly, browser is creating the rows. Give it 100 pixel width, height. Okay. Next thing, let me just comment it. Now, see this part. What am I saying to item number one? That please get a sketch from starting to end. Similarly, for item number eight, I'm saying start from means stretch for the full row. Start from one and end at -1. Okay, so item three eight was here earlier. It has left this place and see this place is empty. Now, do you want like this? Do you want your website to be empty? Do you want like this? No, we don't want, right? So here, what I can give, I have this property, grid auto flow. By default means here if I put it dense, see here what happens. Means see earlier, just see the difference. Here, what is there? 7 is there, then 8 is here, 9, 10, 11, 12 is here. Now, can any two of them fit here? Who all can fit here? This 9 and 10 can fit here, right? So if I do, by default means if I put this value dense, grid auto flow dense, then see 9 and 10 have come here, and now we are not able, we can't see any empty space, right? All the empty spaces have been filled. So that's the case, means this is better using this dense, because earlier what was happening, see, this empty space in between was there, we don't want it. So what we can do, grid auto flow dense. Okay, so now it will play wisely, it will see by himself then what is the space. Now let me say something to this item 9 also. Let span grid column span 2, let's say. Okay, see what happens. 7 is here, 8 it is from starting to end, and 9 is taking two columns. Now, if I again do dense, what will happen? Since this 9 can fit in here, it can fit in here, right? Because there is space for two columns left. So this entire 9 can come and put be here. Okay? So that's the case. Here also you are seeing this empty space. So maybe we can expand this 12 only, or 10, 11, 12, anything we can expand and fill it like that. Okay? Is this thing clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we saw how to just fill this empty space also. Okay. Now going further, again we are having very simple properties which we have actually seen earlier as well. Okay. So again I'm just creating the three columns. Oh, wait. Okay. I'm giving them some means height I'm giving them. Then by default row size will be 100 pixels, and gap I have said that row gap and column gap both should be 10 pixels. So like this I have created. Now let's say I am saying justify and, so here what is happening, see, all the justify means, see here justify items actually work on x-axis. Okay, so here basically if you see the grid, see, this is the box. Okay. Now let's minimize it and see the difference. Can you see all of the boxes? So now justify and. If I do and, so in the x-axis it will move to the end. In the center, if I do, it will move in the xy axis direction. It will move in the center. Similarly, I can do a space between. Okay, means all of them will have a space between. A space around, that can happen, space evenly, that can happen. All these things are like earlier we learned earlier. Similarly, I can even give justify items and start. All of them will come in the starting, and see, it is in the direction of x direction. Similarly, we are having similar case for this align items also. Now align items, they will move in the direction of y. Okay, so see, if I do start, they will come in the starting. If I do end here, see, they will come in the end, y direction they are moving. Similarly, if I do center, they can come in the center. Okay, another thing is, and by default what is happening, by default they are having stretch property. Okay, so even if I don't give stretch, they are having stretch property. Is this clear? Now, going ahead, we have seen two things, which is justify items and align items. So, apart from giving them explicitly, what I can give, I can say place items and then start. See, first one is for align items. Align items means in the y direction. So, in the y direction means vertically, if you see, in the y direction, I want them to come in the end. So, see, they have come in the end. And in the x direction, what I want, that come in the starting. So see, in the x direction they have come in the starting. Let's see, I want something like this. See. So in the y direction, where I want them to be center, in the y direction center, in the x direction start. So see, they have placed like this. If I do both of them is center center, so they will come in the middle. Is this thing clear? You can play around with them now. You
Yes.
can, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, again, as we were having, um, Just a minute, okay. As we saw about this individually boxes we were saying. Now let's compare, means whatever it is light blue boxes you are saying, let's move them together. Okay, so now 500 pixels, let me put it 600 pixels and see. Yeah, so can you see that this is okay, let me put it 500 so that it can be visible. This blue box, dark blue box border, you can see that total width is 500 pixels. Okay, that I have given. Now let me say align content end. So see, all these light blue boxes, they have come in the end, and see now we have space in the starting. If I do space between, so see, all of them are have space in between. See, this column has row gap has increased, right? Similarly, I can give it center also. So see, it can come in the center like this. We can play around. Also we have one common property here, means see what I was doing. We saw two properties. One is align item content. Align content will play in the y direction, and in the x direction who plays this justify content. So see, in the x direction they have come in the middle part. Okay. Similarly, for the place content, just like we saw here, na, place items. Similarly, we have something like place content. It means I can give y direction center, and in the x direction space between. So if I just uncomment it, you can see something like this. Okay. In the y direction, it will be center, and in the x direction, it is a space between. Okay. So like this, you have to play around. Next thing is justify self, align self. You remember align self we saw in the flexbox also. This play all these things we have seen in flexbox also. So same thing we are doing in grid as well. So here, let's say if I'm doing this align items, and now see, let's see now individually. For this individual items, I can give something. Individually, if I have to play, then I have to play align self, justify self like this. Okay. Now see. What I have said, align self means in the y direction, move in the starting. That is align self. That is only happening for item number one. See, I have chosen only item number one and using this self. So, self for individual item. Next is justify and if I give. Justify means in the x direction. So in the x direction, I want to be come in the end. So see, they have come in the end. Now, if I want in both the direction, so I can use place self. Okay. So first is for the align self. So align self means in the y direction. In the y direction, be in the starting. So it is in the top. In the x direction, be in the end. End means right side. So it is in the top right. Is this thing clear? So that is how we can give
Yes.
example individually. Okay. Now I know your question is that okay, we have learned everything about grid. Okay, entire grid is over. It was so simple, right? Only some of the properties we have to remember, and then we can play means create anything like that. Now you must be wondering that how to use these things. Where will I use? Right? Is this your question? That where will we use? So let me tell you another folder that I have already created. So we will create a quick website. Okay, and let's check it how to use grid in that. Okay. By default, see, without HTML, without CSS, it is looking something like this. It is looking so plain. What I have given, I have said that I want something header. So see, I have used here semantics, semantic tag, right? So here, one is header, another is main. Inside main content, I have simply write that main content. Aside means sidebar, and footer, I have write footer. Okay, simple text I have written. This you can see. Okay. Now let me just uncomment this line and let's go and see what is an index2.css. So here again that universal operator I've used and given this margin padding and the box sizing. Okay, body I have given font size, font family means you can even skip it, no problem. For background color, I have given some background color, and the text color will be white. That I have said. Minimum height I want 100 vh. Vh means viewport height. Okay, so if this screen is visible, this is again 100% of the viewport. So that only I want. Okay, now just let me comment on these. 1 minute it will take. And next thing, what I have said that body, and see some sign I have used. Do you remember this sign? We have learned in the pseudo elements in classes, right? This sign is saying that body, whoever are the siblings or the of the body, means who all are the child of this body, they all, here all I mean by this asterisk sign. So body child means whoever are the child of the body, they all should have the padding 1 ram and border 2 ram. Okay, so see here, who all are the, sorry, this one, who all are the child of the body. This header is the child, main is the child, aside is the child, footer is the child. Okay, so all of them are having here 1 ram padding, and border will be 2 pixels. So see here, some padding they are having. Padding means inside, inside the border. So padding they are having, and some border they have been given. Okay, I hope this is clear. So you can see this red border, so you can explicitly see this border I have given. Now, something we want to do. I told you I will. We will see grid. Okay. So first thing, what we have to give grid means for the outer container. Who is the outer container here? See, this body is the outer container, and all these four are the items inside it. Right. So now I will give grid display grid to this parent. So see here, I have given it, and there is some difference. Means only they have taken some width and all. That's the case. And why they have been like this? Because if I remove this height, minimum height, then it will be like this, no difference. But since I have given that minimum height should be 100 vh, so by default they are in the stretch mode. So all of them have been stretched, and all of them have covered this. Now I want to create, let's say, two column I want. Okay, two columns I want, and both of them are flexible. So basically I want two columns now. But still, since, see what all things we are having. Header, so header will be in the top. Okay, you can imagine. Main content, it is in the left side, and the sidebar, that is on the right side. So that is why we created two columns. Similarly, we were having footer. So footer is in the lower side. So basically I want three columns, right? First is for the header, second is for the that foot, both of them means that will come in the left right direction, main content and the sidebar. And last we want footer also. So I have given like this, that grid template rows, I want 64 pixels first row. Middle row you can put any fraction, whatever is the space left, give everything to it. And 64 pixels fixed I want for the row, means for the footer. So see, it is so looking something like this. Now what we will do for this header and footer, see, till now we have not said that header should be full, it should take full length. How will it know? So here we have seen this thing, right, grid column. So now what am I saying, that I want header comma footer. See, header comma footer, I want them to stretch from 1 to minus 1. 1 to minus 1, you already know, it is full row. So see, it has taken full row, right? Okay. Is it looking good? Our website is looking good, and our website is actually ready. Is it so? See, is it ready? This only we have in the basic website, right? Header, then some main content here, some sidebar here. Also in the main content, now you can create some div. A lot of div you can create and give them flexbox. Okay, anything you can give here in the main content. Similarly, for the sidebar, you can play and place any kind of content. Basically, our base structure layout is clear. Okay, now if you see, okay, for now I have just given this also already. So till now, if you see, something is there. Okay, it is decreasing, decreasing, decreasing. And do you see in the mobile, will it look good? This main content, will it be visible? Because it is taking so less width, it won't be visible, right? In the mobile. This is the mobile view, if I say. And the sidebar also, the items will be so small, it won't be visible. So what I want, that if the size is less, then this main content should take full row, and the sidebar also should take full row. Okay. So in that case, we actually use media queries. We have not seen the media queries earlier. Here we are seeing. Okay. So what you have to write at the rate media you can write, then some width you have to assign. Okay, inside that width you can specify some of the properties. Now here what I have said that maximum width should be 768 pixels, means that maximum will be 768. Apart as it gets lower than 768 pixels, means for 0 to 768 pixels, right? All these things what am I writing right now, that should apply. What should apply? See, columns will be 1 fr. 1 fr means we are creating only one column, all only one column, right? And here what I'm saying, in the rows, I am creating 4 rows now. Earlier, see what we have created, we created 2 rows, 2 columns and 3 rows, right? This time what I want a column only, and first header and footer width I have fixed 64 pixels, and in the middle we have given 1 fr. 1 fr means they can take this size, or I can put it 2 fr, means the main content should be larger and this should take 1 fr only. Okay, now let's see what happens. See, as the size is 768, from the 768 and 7 less than 768, means from 0 to 768, it should be like this. How? It should be like this. Okay, here also let me change some background color. And the color also I will have to give black, because again it was white earlier, so it won't be visible. See what has happened. From 768 and larger it is like this, and from 0 to 768, see, from 0 to 768 I want something like this. So that is where we use media query. Media query is mainly used to give the responsiveness. Now if this is the mobile view, you can see everything clearly, right? The main content is already clearly visible, sidebar is visible, header footer, all of them are visible, right? Isn't it so? So that's the case where we use media query. Okay, and there is one more thing of grid. Okay, that is actually main for the semantic purpose. Semantic means just to give meaning. So that is what we have. Means we talk about template areas. Okay, here what happens, see, means mostly I don't use these template areas, but yeah, you should know about them, so that's why I'm just covering here. In the basic, means see, for entire website what am I saying, that it should be like this. Header, I have kept put it like this in one means string, I have put them like this. Header means first row should contain, see what was having, just a minute, give me a minute. What I wanted, that I have one, this is my website. Okay, now it was having 2 columns, right? So there must be some separation in between. Now in this separation, what am I saying, that okay, so what am I saying, that it should both of them should be header, means here also header and here also header, right? Means clear. So as a whole this entire thing should be header, means we are saying first row should be header. Next, talking about the second row, we are saying content and sidebar. Okay, so content is there and sidebar is there. Now why is it larger size? Because it is 1 fr and this is only 64 pixels. Similarly, in the footer, what am I saying, it should be footer. Okay, so see, even if you don't see the website, here you can see that, okay, in the first row it will be header, in the second row it will be column sidebar, and in the third row it will be footer. See, that's the case actually. First row header, then main content sidebar, then footer. Okay, and I have to give specific areas also. So here what I have chosen, see, grid area header I have given, grid area footer I have given. Then for this aside, see here in the html what we have tag use aside. So for this aside, what am I saying, I am saying here sidebar. Okay, so that sidebar I have said. And for this main, what am I saying, content. So that content I have said, only the specifying that which tag is actually indicating what thing. Okay, and now here in the end, when I'm creating the responsiveness, that when I want 0 to 768 pixels, what I want, in the first row I want only header, then I want only content, then I want only sidebar, and then I want only footer. Your question will be, earlier you write like this, header, header. Now, why you have written like this, only header? Because this time, see, we have only one column. So that's why we are taking consideration only one column. Okay, is this thing clear? It will make no impact on your website. This is just for the semantic view, means it is just giving the meaning. Great template areas means whatever area you are having, that you are giving some meaning. Okay, now where this meaning is means helpful, it is helpful when we have to consider SEO. And if you are trying to become the front end developer, you have to always consider this SEO part seriously. SEO means, see, if I am writing here any website, let's say media query, if I write, okay, so there must be something, some of the website will come first. See, this website has come first. Why? Because in the inside it is having media query content already. Or how it is made, it is made up of SEO, means search engine optimization. Whatever keywords and content they have used, they have considered this SEO, that if user is searching something, it should have a match in their website. Okay, so now one more thing I have to show you, that how you can play around with the responsiveness. See, you can't always decrease the width and all, like that you can't see. So here if you see, we are having this sign, you can see this toggle device emulation it is written. So click here, this is the emulation. And now see, here you can see the width, what we have given width, 768, right? So in the 768 it is looking like this. If I increase it 769, if I do, see, it is looking like a website. So there is only one role between the 768 and 769. So here what am I saying, that from 0 to 768 give me this. Similarly, what I can do else, something else also, this time what I can do, mhm, let us take 400 pixels. Okay, so here this time what it will be, it will be from 0 to 400. See, maximum width will be 400, so minimum can be anything. Minimum we have not specified, means minimum is 0. So from 0 to, okay, and here when we are talking about max width, if max width is 768 pixels, we have to give min width also. So minimum width, let's say we are giving 400 pixels. Forgetting what we had here. I'm forgetting the syntax, means what we add here. Why is it giving the red sign? Mostly it is double end only which we use. Okay. So by any chance, what I mean to say here is that if the maximum width is 768 pixels, do something like this. And if it is, means from 400 to 768, do something like this. Okay. And then from 0 to 400 pixels, do something like this. Okay. So like that we can divide everything. Okay. And now here you can give different kind of CSS values if the width is less. Okay, so that's the case. Now mostly when we use media queries, what we take care, we take care of the laptop, then we take care of the tablet. Tablets are mid size, means they are larger than the mobile, but still, and also for the mobile. So for these three things we create the website. Okay, here we have just considered that in mobile and tablet, both of them, it should look like this. Okay, so like that you can do. Now here if I increase, means take care of this size. Okay, from 0 to any size, see, it is like this, means only one column. As 768 comes, see, I'm increasing. As 768 comes, from after 768, it is two column wise. Okay, so that's how we use grid here. In this example, we have basically seen how to use grid in practical example, and we have created a short website also. Okay, now another thing, one more thing I have to add, that in real life you can add grid also, flexbox also. So then you can use a lot of properties, but for it you should be comfortable in both of them individually. Okay, so practice well, and in case of any query, you can just ping me anytime. Okay, so that's all for our course as well and for our grid as well, entire thing. So our HTML CSS is entirely completed. The syllabus I have shared to you, that is completed. Okay, hello.
Hello. Yes, Sashi. Okay. If we have any confusion or anything, like we can call, text you anytime.
Yeah, sure, you can do. Okay then. Bye bye. All the best.
Hello.
Yes, Sabah. Gone.
Yeah, I lost the connection. I was not there for 5 minutes.
Oh, means I just told you that website. I'll share the recording. No problem. You can see. I was just saying about the media queries, how you can use it.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you have one web page means how to
See, this is what we have done. This is the web page only we have created. And now,
no for all the flex box and all how to use in one.
means
Can we have that? Not at least recording only, if not the session.
okay, means I'll try if I can get it. Okay. But
Okay. Means, we can have the idea how can we create